I read a non-fiction book. I am as shocked as anyone else would be. This week I finished reading The 12-Week Year. It's sort of a productivity, level up your life type of thing without being really annoying about it. But I felt like this book had some really good points about it, and I've kind of seen it in action a little bit. I have done a 12-week year without really knowing what it was a couple times. So last year I wanted to learn how to tattoo, and so I did this 12-week program, and I feel like by the end of it I had a really solid understanding of how to tattoo, at least on fake skin. I have not tattooed a real person before. It scares me a little. And I was like, you know, I bet there are other things that I want to do that I could do this way. And so after that I did 12 weeks that sort of extended to 15 weeks, and I wrote a first draft of my novel that I am hoping to get published eventually one day. And after that I did a 12 weeks of just trying to get my little book cover website and stuff up and running, and I was able to do that, and I was really happy about it, and I'm starting to see a little bit of traffic on the site. But here we approach the new 12 weeks because I'm paying to keep the website up, which cost me about $60 a month between the subscription to have my hosting, an iPostal address, and then also a subscription for fulfillment of orders, because right now all I have is digital copies. So what I mean by that is digital versions of the covers that people could buy the digital file and then go print it out themselves, because my goal with this was to make it a much more accessible version of some other book cover companies that I've seen that are beautiful but really expensive. But I'm not seeing the traffic that I want to see, and I haven't made any sales on it. Overall, I have a few ideas of what I can do to make it better, but it's gonna be a lot of work. And this is something that I really love. Like, this is a passion project for me, but it's an expensive passion project, so my goal is to do the 12-week year and just put as much as I can into it and see where we land. I would love to be able to at least be breaking even. I've written out my goals for each week that I think will help me get there. I'm lucky that my job is marketing, so I have some ideas of what I need to do, and I wanted to record this video as partly bring you on my journey situation and partly book review. I want to see if it actually works. One major thing that they do is they have you score your weeks for how successful you were in that week, and that's something I've never done before that I could see being like a really big help to me. And so I want to try it and maybe have a functioning website that's selling stuff. I really appreciate you being here and sticking along for the ride. Okay, we are back after week 1. If there's one thing about me, I'm gonna overestimate how much I can get done in a week. Overall, I've already written out all the 12 weeks and everything that I want to do each week to, achieve the goals. But the template that I'm using splits the 12 weeks into 3 separate goals, which ended up being very helpful for me, I think. I was able to sort of split between the technical side of making the book covers and making the product, and then my second section was sort of the marketing stuff, like Pinterest, TikToks, the things I'm going to do to try to push it out to people. And then the third section, I was just sort of doing a health goals thing on the side. Not a single section did we get 100% on. Overall, I did okay. Finding classics that I could... Oh, that was terrifying. So these were all of my week 1 goals. A part of what I was hoping to do with the book covers was to figure out a way to print them through Kindle Direct Publishing and then use those book covers. Couple problems with that. They don't use standard size book covers, which is super fun. I still think it's possible if I want to use the actual books, but for that also means like publishing books. I don't have just like 10 manuscripts laying around. So my idea was to find books in the Creative Commons. So like Jane Austen's works, a bunch of classics, a lot of them are in the Creative Commons, and you can reprint them completely legally. But the problem with that is that a lot of them, if Amazon sells it themselves, you have to make a differentiated version, an illustrated version, an annotated version, something like that. So I am attempting to make an illustrated version just with quotes and stuff. I'm trying to make it as simple as possible, but honestly, it's kind of a mess. So even though I found classics that I want to use, I wasn't able to actually get them onto Kindle Direct Publishing. I spent a lot of time doing research with this, and because I'm trying to make it that somebody could order a set of book covers for the lowest cost possible, I think I'm going to be able to use Kindle Direct with those books. But if I want book covers to go on other existing books, like if somebody wanted to get a set and then cover the Throne of Glass series, the sizes won't be right. So this next week I'm going to be looking into stuff like Ingram Spark and other print-on-demand companies. As you can see, none of this got done. I can't believe that I thought I could do this all in one day. It's kind of ridiculous when I think about it. But in between here, I had a custom covers set. My sister-in-law was sweet enough to order some. She wanted coffee table books, and I was going to find thrifted books to put them over. They were light pink and super cute, but I found that the books that I got, since they weren't all like a super light color on the edges, even though the paper was thick enough on the edges, it kind of just messed up the color aesthetic. So I ended up painting all of the books and then getting the covers printed, which there were printing issues as well. This was like kind of an intense week if I think back about it. For some reason, the Staples printer kept reading the pink color I used as like a yellow, and so I ended up having to get it reprinted, and it was a whole mess, but we ended up getting right size, right color, everything looked good, and so I was able to finish that part of my first week goals and give them to her. Next was the new designs. I wanted to do a bunch of ombre packs, which we did get done. Having gotten 3 out of 5 of the goals done, that leaves me at 60%. Not exactly what I wanted, but the learning process is coming with quite the curve. Week 1 social media went a little bit better, thankfully. I added the link to the covers website to all of my YouTube videos. I got product photos of the covers I made for my sister-in-law. Obviously, I wasn't able to order a KDP set. That's one of my goals, is that once I finish a set, I can order it and get product photos. So I didn't get this half of the goal done, but I'm trying to make my peace with that. 10 pins got done, and for some reason I put 3 TikToks even though I posted 4 and I expected myself to post 4. And I added a new lead magnet to my most recent YouTube video. It was a reading tracker. So considering that this part didn't get done, we are at a 95% for this section. I can live with that. For the health section, it's primarily focused on ballet related stuff, but also just like healthy habits that I want to either continue or improve. My goals, daily goals, was to eat greens because I don't normally like leafy greens. I know they're good for you, so I'm trying to incorporate more of those. I wanted to drink a gallon of water per day. I feel like that's just like such a round number. Like, I hear so many people saying that. How are you doing it? I drink a lot of water. Like, a lot of water. She is a hefty gal. Like, I fill this up multiple times a day, and I still didn't quite reach a gallon. I also wanted to do this daily ankle routine, ankle strength mostly. I have sprained both of my ankles growing up in sports, and that's not super conducive to being strong on point. I started ballet as an adult, and I've been doing point for a little over a year, I think. We are still clutching onto the bar for like a significant portion of the class, but I've noticed a lot of improvement, and I know that if I really focus on ankle strengthening stuff, it's going to help so much. I just sometimes have a hard time committing to doing all this in a day. And then I just wanted to stick to my current workout routine. Then comes the absolute kicker. I generally don't sleep enough. A normal weeknight for me is like 5.5 hours, which I realize is like truly unhealthy, but my body just fights sleep. So my goal wasn't even to sleep for 7 hours a night. It's just to be physically in my bed for 7 hours a night. It happened one day. 2 days. Yay, Saturday. There's a lot of room for improvement in this area of my life. After going through what I got done versus the total, the weekly score is a measly 42%. The 12-week year audiobook said that it becomes easier over time to raise your scores. So I'm trying to accept this as information that is helpful, as opposed to just like truly judging myself. As a little perfectionist student, like 95 was bad for me in school. So seeing a 42 makes me upset. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. In the upcoming week, I'm going to try to figure out all of the KDP stuff. I know that's probably going to set me behind on some of the week 2 stuff, but it is such a base for everything else that I want to get done that it's going to have to be done. The week 1 check-in is complete. Wish me luck. Week 2 of the 12-week year is behind us. We got a lot of things done. Some things not as far along as I would like to, but still, I feel like a lot of progress was made in this past week. So, to the notion, to the secret lab.
To the secret lab! Pull the lever, Kronk.
So this is week 2. We got the new designs done. So I don't know how I feel. The beige ones, I'm going to show them to you, so let me know what you think. They look different in the mock-up, so I think I'm just going to have to like test print them. This week was to do gray, beige, and a stag set. Sort of like Terracin vibes, a little Harry Potter, just kind of depending on what you want to use it for. So this is the beigey set, and I'm trying to go really minimalist for this, for more of a like interior design side of things, because I really think that, you know, there is multiple sides to this where it could be for readers and it could also be more for decoration. This is the gray set, and then this was the stag set. I really love how this one turned out. I'm just kind of like on the fence as to whether this is too light, and that's the problem with these, is like sometimes you just have to see it printed, because like the colors look great on screen, but sometimes they just don't print well. That's what I'm hoping to find out soon, particularly for this set, just because I personally love this one. I figured out some of the print-on-demand stuff. I'm also kind of looking into Ingram Spark. So I did manage to get some of the designs onto like print-on-demand, but it was only the 8.5 size, and it was still like kind of too expensive in my opinion. I'm still looking at print-on-demand options just to see like what other size books, because obviously I would love to have the 8.25, 8.5, 9.25, and 9.5 options, because a lot of our favorite books, they come in all those different sizes. I don't want to limit it to just like a couple books that you could do. But yeah, so that is like, we're currently waiting to see if my books would have even gotten approved by Ingram Spark, or if we're gonna figure something else out. But I did get the graphic to print your own covers done, and I added it to the site, which I was really excited about, because I feel like part of using the printable versions is like knowing how to do it, because if you've never taken something to get printed before, it's just like kind of like you don't know how to do the process, and that's like a big obstacle. And so I've added this little tab of how it works. I was able to get it down to like a 6-step process, including like watching the video of how to wrap your books. And so I feel like this is something that people could follow. I wanted to also figure out how to section the site into those different things. Like I said before, I feel like there was a really good opportunity not only for like just general reader vibes, but also like interior designers and people who enjoy artwork. And so I wanted to have that in a separate section, so that, you know, people who are readers who are coming for like the knife set and dragon vibes and stuff like that, like they don't have to sift through a bunch of neutrals. And then people who are there for the aesthetic side of it, of just like overall house decor, like they don't have to try and sort their way through dragon related decor. So I also wanted to add a fandom section, because I would really love to figure out the licensing side of things, and like to actually be able to make sets specifically for one series and have the titles on them. Like that's something I would really like to do in the future. I'm not like website savvy. This is the first time I've ever really tried to like make a website like from scratch like this before. I figured out how to add those sections, so like readers, interior design, and art, and then fandom. So that's still coming soon. I figured out how to do the buttons, which is very exciting. I cannot tell you how long I spent on this. I figured out how to make collections in Shopify. And that's what you have to do to be able to get the buttons to go to the right place. And you can't even do it in the web designer. Like when I tell you, it took so long. It took multiple YouTube tutorials. Like I'm very proud of this. I'm just happy of how it turned out. So now like people can go to their vibe first, which is what I wanted. And then they also can understand that there are multiple options. And in doing that, catalog is now separated into printables for people who want the PDFs and to print it themselves, and the dust jacket delivery service. And then contact would be how you get the custom covers. So I'm really excited about being able to set it up like this, because I was really worried it was just like going to be nearly impossible and was going to be so many different pages. And it's really not. Like I'm using Shopify, and I feel like it is beginner friendly to an extent, but when you're like below beginner, level 0 website builder, it just takes some time. And then as far as like the marketing stuff went, I filmed this version of the video last week, did my TikTok and my Pinterest, and I made a new lead magnet for the YouTube video I put out this week, which was an ACOTAR theories video. So I made this new lead magnet to go to the email list, which was really fun. I really love like just messing around in Midjourney, and I realized it could make coloring pages, and so I kind of wanted Fae vibes, obviously. I'll link this in the video description as well if you want this, because I love how these turned out. More TikToks. I couldn't really do product photos or ordering sets again this week. That was something I wanted to do last week too, considering all of the print on demand. On that note, I do have something to show you. I hope it works. Like, I hope it works so much. I had a conversation about, like, can you just print it at your house? And a long time ago, I was looking at printers. When I first had this idea, I was like, I'm just gonna buy a printer and do it. And then I realized that the type of printer that I wanted was $2,000. That's just not quite in the budget at the moment. And so, but I was talking about that again yesterday. And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go look. And I found potential printer stuff. So I got the Epson Workforce Pro. This can do, you know, larger than your normal printing, and it's supposed to be really high quality, and it's supposed to be able to take thicker paper, potentially all of the stuff that we'll need. The only thing that it can't really do is do the full length that I would normally like. So normally with the book covers, I make them 22 inches in length. That gives them like so much extra space to wrap over the side of the book. This can only do 13 by 19, and there would be probably a tiny margin. I'm still trying to figure out if you can get the ink to bleed all the way to the end. If that is the case, it would be like 1.5 inches off of both of the flaps on the inside of the book. I will show. So like this part would be a little bit shorter, and I think that would be okay, especially considering like it would make the product, like if I was able to print it here and cut it out here and not have to go through a printing service and not have to do all the print on demand stuff, not only would that save like so much time, like at least in my brain where math does not always make sense, mind you, it would make the product cost 1/4 of what I would need to charge now, which is like a huge deal to me. So I'm really hoping that this is gonna work. I ordered the paper that I would need to put in here, and I'm just going to test wrapping it around to see if it's, you know, if it's long enough to hold, or if it just like, does it just pop out? And then, you know, in that case, I'll return the printer or maybe keep it, because I would love to print posters too. But I did get it on a pretty good sale, which I was excited about, because this versus a $2,000 to $3,000 printer is just like wild to me. So ideally I could use this printer for a while, have those like kind of abbreviated flaps for a bit, and you know, if it takes off, I would love to invest in the giant printer, the one that would just be a massive hulking thing in my dining room. But that's the goal. I'm probably gonna have to return this because it is 18-inch and not 19. Like, are you freaking kidding me? So if I can get the printer and it does work, it would be way easier to do these product photos, and I won't have to always do these mock-ups and stuff. They don't take that much time, but they do take time to create. So that would be really amazing. I'll keep you updated. Hopefully it all works out and everything is fine with it, but we'll see. As far as the like health side of the goals, it was like almost the same. I've been just super lazy about them, so I need to be better. And talking to a camera now and saying that I'm simply not doing 10 minutes of ankle exercises is embarrassing, so maybe I'll shame myself into it. But overall, going through all of these, I was like a tiny bit better of a weekly score. This one was 48%, and then as far as the marketing stuff goes, I was just missing this step, so it's again a 95, and then the score for this one, since I'm only missing the designs to KDP, it is 80, where last week it was 60. So there's like some improvement, which is good. So we're into week 3, and I'm traveling this week too. So I'll be able to work a bit. I'm going to visit my family, and then we're going on vacation. I have week 4 as the week that I'll be with my family, so I'll be hopefully able to still get stuff done, but I do have an adorable niece. So we'll see exactly how much gets done. I'm not counting this week. When I go on vacation, I really try to like not even touch my computer if I can help it. So that week is just sort of a blank week, and then I'll be picking up with week 5 when I come home. So my goal was to get 1,000 on TikTok, because then I can add my website link to my bio. Until you have 1,000 followers, you cannot add any type of link. So if you want to follow me on TikTok, I'll put my username somewhere about. But that's it for the update. I'm currently on Monday of week 3, so lots to do, especially before I get on an airplane. But I'm overall happy with where we're at right now, especially since Saturday was supposed to be like get a ton of work done day for me, and I ended up spending like 6 hours on the YouTube video. It's all good, I guess. Goodbye. Week 4 didn't happen. I was gonna spend a week at my parents' house before we went on vacation to the beach, and I was gonna have 1 week vacation, but it became very clear to me during that first week that nothing was gonna get done, primarily because we were painting my parents' back porch, and I am really bad at estimating how long anything is gonna take ever. I was like, I can knock that out in like a couple hours. It turned out to take like over 15 hours. And I really wanted to get it done like before we left for the beach. So I really put a lot of time into it, even though I was also working that week. And I was like, you know what? If I'm gonna pull off all the stuff that I need for the 12-week year, I'm gonna have to pull all-nighters every single night, which is physically impossible and just really uncomfortable. So I did not do that. I decided to just extend the vacation to 2 weeks and start on week 4 now. Anywho, we are now headed into week 4 again. So before I left, I got a lot of stuff done that I wanted to get finished. I was able to get most of the social media stuff done. I'm still gonna have to catch up a little bit, and I'm a bit behind on some of the new designs, but I did make some Reputation inspired designs, which was not on the list, but I had an idea and I really liked it. So I'm still behind on the Monet set, but I am working on it. I do have like most of it mapped out, which is good. I didn't have time to test out the printer before I left for vacation. On top of all the other week 4 stuff, which is gonna be some SEO related articles to go on the site to try to start getting some traffic to the site outside of just YouTube clicks. And I did already do this part, updating the SEO on some of the book cover videos. So let us embark into the YouTube studio. So these videos about wrapping book covers or making your own book covers, I use TubeBuddy to update the descriptions in them so that they're more SEO friendly. Theoretically, they'll hopefully be getting more views, and if people click on those videos, there's a good chance they would be interested in visiting the site. So that's kind of like the succession that I'm hoping for there. I also want to figure out how to do a site pop-up on the website that either offers something for free or some sort of discount, something like that. That's basically going to act as an email collection tool. Luckily, this section kind of stays the same every week, filming the TikToks, Pinterest pins, which I'm also just kind of trying to work on the aesthetic of my Pinterest page as well. And so I changed it from a personal account to a business, and so I can kind of see some more of these like stats and stuff like that. I can't get approved as a business because I read somewhere that like the merchant guidelines, they say that you need to have your website up for like 9 months, which is not the case for me. And then somebody else said it's a whole year. And you can only really ask to be reapproved a couple times, so I'm just kind of letting this one sit, to be honest. Other than that, we're still at one sale, which is not super surprising to me. I was kind of surprised that I got a sale as early as I did, and I haven't really done much in the past 2 weeks, so I'm hoping that, a new push of effort will be helpful on that end. I am getting lots and lots and lots of emails from people who are going through my contact form and get me all excited, and then I'm like, oh yeah, like what do you want? And they're like, oh, I want you to hire me to fix your website. Guys, I'm working on it. It's fine. But part of that is the articles that I want to put on there for SEO purposes. So I'm trying to do a best gifts for readers, gifts for writers, stuff that is hopefully going to track on Google and get some people visiting the site so I can get a little more credibility in Google's eyes and just have other stuff for people to look at while they're on the website, which would be awesome. I think that's about everything. I do actually feel rested, which is really nice, and I think going to be very helpful as I try to move into another very large chunk of work. Wish me luck heading into week 4. Goodbye! I am honestly so tired. Last week finished up week 4 of the 12 weeks, and it was a really good week. I was really excited. I got the printer in and I got it set up, which took 2 days because I'm bad at technology. And I got to do a full test print set with the new Water Lilies by Monet covers that I also worked on this past week. So it was a very productive week and a lot got done, but it's still I've been thinking about this the past couple days because I'm still not caught up. I wouldn't say I'm super far behind, but I also know that I put in a lot of hours this weekend, and I'm still there's still checkboxes unchecked. And I'm trying to gaslight myself into thinking that this is a good thing because for me with to-do lists, I generally overestimate what I'm able to get done. I've gotten better at it, but I used to put a week's worth of work in one day because I was like, I can get that done in that amount of time. And I think that can be a bad trait sometimes, but at the same time, I think if I was checking all the boxes and it was easy, especially in this case where I'm trying to get results in like a condensed amount of time, it would mean that I wasn't like, not that I wasn't trying hard enough, but that I wasn't giving myself enough to do and that I could push harder. When you're working with a condensed timeline like this, that is important. Like, you do have to be able to push through because like it's not easy coming off of an 8-hour workday and then going into kind of a second workday, sort of. So I think having those tasks and then feeling like I'm falling behind kind of gives me some extra incentive to like keep pushing and stuff like that, because I'm like, oh, if I don't work and I don't work hard, then I'm gonna fall so far behind that it will be impossible to make up the ground at some point. I don't know if that's a good emotion to have, but it is very effective for me. So that is why I look like trash today and why I feel like I'm probably giving less energy than I remember specifically saying last week that I felt like rejuvenated and like kind of re-energized. And we've like depleted a significant amount of that within a week, which is okay, but you know, it is what it is. That said, here we are at week 4. So, things that I didn't have in this list that like had to get done were getting the printer set up, which took probably in total between the 2 nights that I was working on it, like 3 or 4 hours, because on top of connecting it to the Wi-Fi and the computer and figuring out how to get everything set up and to get it turned on and all the settings, it also wasn't printing full page. It was like it thought that the 13 by 19 paper was 8.5 by 11 and it was printing in that space on such a big piece of paper. I could not figure it out for the life of me. You need to set both your printer and your computer. Both of them have to be on a B3 size. That was another thing I learned this week, that 13 by 19 paper is called B3. And at least in the case of my computer, you have to reset that size every single time you print. But we got that figured out, and then I also was trying to make up some lost ground on getting the Monet covers figured out, all the right sizes, adding them to the website, doing the mock prints, and then getting pictures of the mock-ups. So there was a lot of stuff that wasn't in the list that still got done, so I kind of feel like this doesn't fully reflect what went into last week, but still a lot of this stuff got done, which is good. I wanted to write some SEO-friendly articles to put on the website, so I still need to do the gifts for writers and how to make your own book covers, but I did get the gifts for readers done. I actually put a TikTok out asking for readers to tell me like what the best gifts they've ever gotten are, because I had a couple in my brain, but not really enough to make a full listicle. And so I was really grateful for that help, and so now I have this article. I also included links as Amazon affiliate links, be an extra little boost, which would help support the website, which would be great. So some of the stuff that people said was just like, it was so cool. Like, I'd never really heard of a book sleeve. I feel like I understand what the concept is, obviously, but like I'd never really thought about it. And so like there were some fun things. Like, I don't have a Kindle yet, but people were saying that the Kindle page turner is like a game changer. So I was happy to add that one in. And then of course at the very end, I added dust jackets, since that is what I sell. And so to do this, I was using a tool that I've actually used for work. I got my like own subscription to it because it has been so helpful. It has really changed the way that I write. It takes data from Google and tells you kind of like what words you should be using, how many times you should be using it, what are good headings to use. So that really helped kind of guide what I was gonna do as far as like making this an SEO friendly article that will hopefully pull people to the website. And so you can see here that theoretically, according to their data, this article should start tracking on Google. Because my website's new and there's not a ton of visitors, that is gonna mess with it a little bit because I don't have a ton of authority coming into it. But over time, as I publish more articles and more people come to the website, that will hopefully help Google just crawl me up in the rankings, because right now, according to the data, which does change, I am at a 94 out of 100, which is like pretty dang good, if I do say so myself. But because right now the top article ranks at 61. The thing is, that top article is like, I think it's the New York Times. Gonna be hard to beat that one. But you know, hopefully I can get onto maybe the first page of Google. That would be excellent for me, considering how small my website is right now. And so I'm planning to repeat that process with gift ideas for writers, and then also how to make your own book covers. So considering that these days I didn't have anything planned. It was sort of a catch-up day for me. I didn't do the site pop-up, so I'm a little bit behind. So I gave myself a 50 plus the Monet covers because those did take such a long time, and I feel like getting the printer working was just like a very big milestone for me. So 50 plus a little sprinkle of extra. For the normal stuff, I filmed last week. I made all the TikToks, I did the Pinterest pins, I got product photos of the Monet covers. The only thing I didn't really do was engage book talkers because I do want to do some form of influencer marketing. That was something that I also haven't done from last week. This is going to be like a big makeup thing for me, and part of it is just because I'm a little shy. I think I don't really like reaching out to new people, especially when I'm asking them for something. So I'm trying to figure out the right way to do this. So considering that was the only thing that didn't really get done this week in this column, I got an 86. So like a B plus. I don't even really want to look at this column for too long. After a vacation or when I like come back from a holiday or something, I've had so much sugar and fun food that like healthy food doesn't sound good anymore. And it takes a little while for me to get myself back to like healthy eating and being on my water consumption and sleeping and all that stuff, because like my sleep schedule was just kind of all over the place on vacation, meaning that I just slept anytime I was laying down basically. We did get all the workouts in last week though, so that was definitely a win. So overall, I would say exhausted but good, because we did get a lot of stuff done that I'm like really happy about, because this was the first, SEO article I worked on for my website. I started working on the SEO for the YouTube channel, which is hopefully going to bring more people. So I'm just like overall happy with where we're at, even though I am still a little bit behind. So now we're heading into week 5, and it looks pretty similar. I did make the Facebook page. I will link it in the description if you're a Facebook user. I want to kind of update the site listings to be more keyword friendly so that they hopefully track better in Google. Because I have the printer now, I was able to set a lot of the print products, like the actual physical things that I could send to people. I was able to move that from not available to available. So I want to upload all of the printable versions and the physical versions to Etsy, because I know that is a place that's going to help gain traction and maybe some side income that could help support the site while I'm getting it more authority with Google and like getting it to rank and stuff like that, because that is a process. So I'm adding the print option to Etsy as well, and then just hopefully catching up. This is going well today. I actually did the ankle strengthening stuff for ballet. I'm already did my morning workout. I'm going to ballet after this. I actually did eat my grains today. Was it fun? Absolutely not, but it happened. But yeah, we're through the first, I would say like leg of the 12 weeks. Because the 12 weeks can kind of be broken into 3 months, I sort of see the months as miniature legs. And so I'm hopefully going to this week kind of edit all of this together to be like a part 1 or something like that. I hope this was like somewhat interesting. Please let me know if there's stuff you'd like to see about this, or like stuff that I don't explain well. And if there's a certain type of design you'd like to see on a book cover, please let me know, because I'm also hoping to work on some new designs this week. We'll see if that happens. Please like this video if you liked it. Click subscribe if you want to talk about more book stuff. My name's Katelyn. Thanks for watching. Bye.